it's overcast and threatening here in Auckland for the first Rugby League Test match of 1992 for the New Zealand Kiwis at Carlaw Park, the home of Rugby League in New Zealand. And there's rock and roll to start the proceedings here. Pre-match entertainment. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for the New Zealand Papua New Guinea Test match. And you know, over the weeks we've been enjoying Aussie League on 2 with Hugh McGann part of the team, and good to see you on One World of Sport again, Hugh. What's the story? You wouldn't be launching a book or anything?
Yes, that's absolutely correct, Greg. Word soon gets around pretty quick, but yes, launching a book tomorrow at the Centra Hotel. Book of just my life story, a few interesting characters, a few interesting stories to come out of it. Hopefully it'll be a success, and just to show people just how rugby league should be played or should be administered, and just how it actually is done in New Zealand. It's just probably one of the stories that come out of it.
We look forward to that in the bookstores before too long. Okay, 9 years ago on this ground you scored 6 tries against the Kumals. Is it easier behind the microphone nowadays?
Yeah, no doubt at all about that, and it was ironical that we'd be back here to cover this game, or me cover this game, after that 6 tries. Again, it's never ever been done again in my life, but today certainly I hope that the Kiwis be able to match that and really get a good score up against Papua New Guinea.
What about a scoreline?
Oh, hard to predict the scoreline today. The Kumals traditionally aren't very good tourists away from home, but on a ground as today, it's a bit damp on top, a lot of slipping and sliding by both teams, but the Kiwis to win fairly convincingly.
We'll all see it unfold on One World of Sport over the next hour and a half. Now, Ken Laban, you have seen the Kumals in action on tour. They were impressive against the Colts last Sunday.
Yes, they are. They're probably one of the most entertaining sides that's ever toured New Zealand, and clearly their midweek side doesn't bear any resemblance to their weekend side, given the fact they performed so credibly last week against the Colts, and midweek they've been indifferent. But today, final match of a 4-match tour, they'll be very keen to get a good result.
Okay, what do you think the key is for the New Zealanders?
Well, I think the Kiwis boys are going to be too big and too experienced, and I think probably come the 55-60 minute mark, the Kumals are going to find it hard going.
So I think everyone expects a win for New Zealand today, but if they give them the space, the Kumals certainly will be very dangerous at times. Okay, let's now check out the team, starting with the New Zealanders. And there are 4 new caps in the starting lineup. Sean Hoppy in the back, Stuart Hill and Pongia in the forwards. 3 rugby converts, fullback Matthew Ridge, winger Richie Blackmore, and second rower Gavin Hill. Halfback and captain Gary Freeman is the most capped Kiwi. It's his 29th test. Prop Brent Todd plays his 23rd test, his first as vice-captain. Papua New Guinea, there are 10 survivors from the side that went very close to upsetting the Great Britain team this year. The stars so far on tour have been vice-captain and centre Richard Wagambi, the inside backs Tuxi Kadu and Aquila Emil, and the skipper is number 10, Karen Naffin. And this is pretty much the forward pack that demolished the Kiwi Colts last Sunday. Number 13, Joe Gispe, is a veteran of the side. It's his 13th test. Well, stay with us on One World of the Sport. After the break, we'll have the action, the first Rugby League test at Carlaw Park for 1992.
Monday on Holmes.
I hate him because he said he had
lead his Kiwi side out onto the field for their opening test match in 1992. Brent Todd, the vice-captain, Matthew Ridge, Vic Cavaniero, Tony Capu, centre partner, Richie Blackmore, the sensation from last year. And the Carlaw Park crowd gives Freeman and the Kiwis a big welcome. Daryl Halligan in the Kiwi squad for the first time. Richie Blackmore, a try at each of his opening tests last year against France. Making his debut today is Sean Hoppy, the Canberra Raider. What a year he's had. Toddy, the powerhouse up front. And Gary Freeman is back in great form this year for the Roosters. One of the danger men of the Kumals team. Tuxi Kadu, the standoff. He's been one of the 4 players on tour. Karen Affin, the big prop, and the captain of this Papua New Guinea side. Number 12 is James Napow. And a big day for the former Canterbury and Wellington Rugby Union flanker. Now with Canterbury Bankstown in the Winfield Cup, Gavin Hill, it's his debut. The Kumals in the bright colours, and if you're wondering how they came up with those colours, well, they're the colours of the bird of paradise, the Kumal. Papua New Guinea national anthem. Ken Laban, there's a lot of talent in that team if they're allowed to run.
Yes, correct for Gary Freeman, the captain of the 1992 Kiwis. Plenty to think about. Debut season for coach Howie Tamati.
Skipper's being called in now for the toss. Gary Freeman from New Zealand. Kieran Affin from Papua New Guinea. The referee today is Greg McCallum from Sydney. It's his 35th birthday. Have a good one, Greg.
All the best. All the best, mate. Okay, mate.
Gary Freeman looks in a relaxed mode.
Mate,
And for the first time today in International Rugby League, the referee is live on air. And here's the haka. Well, Huey McGann, they've been practicing that in the hallway at their hotel in Auckland. How do they perform it?
No, I think they did exceptionally well then, and I think it'll start for their incentive for today. Things that happen for them will start from the haka, and that was done exceptionally well. No complaints at all. They certainly did it a lot better than I did it when I was playing.
And what about sitting on the sidelines now, Hugh? Although you missed 5 tests last year because of your retirement, would you like to be out there?
No way, no whatsoever. It's nice and warm where I am, and I'll enjoy the game sitting from here. But certainly we'll be wishing the Kiwis all the best for this, leading up until the test next week.
Greg McCallum, one of the leading referees in the Winfield Cup. So the Kiwis are back where they belong, on One World of Sport and at Carlaw Park. Bogey, first touch of the ball for the fullback. One of the survivors from the Kumul team that really tested the New Zealanders in 1990. But a first mistake there by the Kumuls.
Just stay apart.
Early nerves.
Stay apart. That's good. Just bend, if you can bend down for me. That's good. There you go.
Chance for the Kiwis. Clark. Kemp. Out to Big Cavalero. Cavalero brings in Sean Hoppy. His first touch of the ball in Test football. He's only a couple of metres out. A great start for the Kiwis. Freeman. Nico. 10 metres out. Wrapped up. Dwayne Mann waits for it. Brad Stewart, his first touch of the ball in Test match football. The Cantabrian, former West Coaster. Freeman calling the shots. He wants it down the blind side. Back inside to Brett Todd. He scores his first and only try for the Kiwis last year against France. He'll be wrapped for a second today. Dean Clark throws it out to nobody, but good hands from Big Cavalero. Back it goes now. Gavin Hill. That's the 5th tackle. Good defence so far from the Kumuls. The grubber kick through. It's into open spaces. Try! Tony Kemp. Welcome back to Carlaw Park, Kempy.
Yeah, so one of the most pleasing aspects about that try was the fact that the Kiwis were able to punish the Papua New Guinea team for making an error in their own quarter, and that's a sign of a very good side. One World of Sport and Lion Red will bring you the replay action. Tony Kemp, a controversial selection in the 1992 Kiwis, does it on the last tackle. Captain Gary Freeman puts in the little kick through. Tony Kemp, good chasing, comes off the goalpost. That's a good try, Huey.
Sensational start for the Kiwis. Great lead-up work by everyone involved. Forwards, Gary Freeman, isn't he in sensational form for this year? Don't know if he intentionally meant to go for the post, but geez, Tony Kemp's a happy man.
New Zealand is leading 4-0, and this is a pretty easy kick for Matthew Ridge. No mistake. So after just 2 minutes of play in the test match, it's New Zealand leading Papua New Guinea by 6 points to 0.
Yeah, there'll be no happier player in the Kiwi side than Tony Kemp. Very, very keen to get selected again for the Kiwis. Huey, as you know, well-deserved try, wasn't it?
Very much so, and again, it was a good start by the Kiwis. Again, I stress they're throwing the ball both outside and in. It's such an early start, everyone's got involved early. Great start for the Kiwis, and hopefully this is just a sign of things to come.
Well, it's an inexperienced forward pack, but we really need big performances from players like Taua Nikau and Dwayne Mann. Play on. Tony Kemp, positive start, and Sean Hoppy down. Oh, lovely work to stay in the field of play. The young Canberra Raider.
Yeah, he's a terrific player, Sean Hoppy, and he's got a great step. He's had a great year in Sydney, hasn't he, Huey? Sean Hoppy.
Oh, terrific start. Who wouldn't have a good start if you were playing outside Mal Meninga and Laurie Daly?
Indeed. Clark, Kemp, throws the dummy, the big man. Kevin exploding up to the quarter line. PNG end of the ground. This has been a great start by the Kiwis. Freeman, Brent Stewart, he'll work all day, he'll run all day. That's the 5th tackle. Freeman wants it down the blind. Nikau, Kemp, there's the 2nd try, as simple as that. Richard Blackmore, the find from last year. Howie Tamati's off the seat. He must be pretty happy with that one.
Yes, and one of the most impressive aspects of that try is the fact that it came from the kickoff and again on the last tackle. 2 players that are going to be very influential, I think, in the new era of the Kiwis is going to be Tony Kemp and Kevin Edel. In the early 80s, it was James Laulawai and Fred Arkoi. Here on the line red replay, the captain, Gary Freeman, gives short ball to Taua Nikau. He gives a great ball on to Kemp, who finds Blackmore. Easy to finish for that guy who's been having a great season for the Kiwis. Huey, how did you see it?
Exactly the same way. Gary Freeman, again, having a sensational start to this game. Shades of Eastern Sowazek, crossing field, looking up for his link-up run. It's a great ball there by Tony Kemp. Richie Blackmore couldn't have asked for an easier try to start this game off.
Well, Richie Blackmore is in his 6th test for New Zealand, and that was his 6th try. Not a bad average for the former Wellington Rugby Union Colt. He's had a good season with Castleford. Despite injury, he made it to the Wembley final in the Challenge Cup. Matthew Ridge, 32 points so far for New Zealand, 16 goals. And this is his 6th test. That time it's away. So the score remains 10 points to 0. Richie Blackmore's try unconverted.
The Papua New Guinea side are going to do it tough if they're going to be competitive today with the enthusiasm of this Kiwi side. The Lion Red replays. It's Richard Blackmore. Had a sensational season for Castleford. Continuing that good form for the Kiwis. That's a very good try.
Shot of the New Zealand bench there. I think that most of those reserves will certainly get a run today to get them ready as they build up for the 2 test series against the Great Britain Lions. The first one next Sunday in Palmerston North. You can see a full replay on One World of Sport, and there's plenty of worried men on the Papua New Guinea bench there. He's had a great start. Oh, good stuff, Kevin Edo. The referee got it his road. The crowd didn't like it, but play on. Brent Todd. Midway, halfway the quarter line. Papua New Guinea end of the ground. Freeman wants it down the blind. The little general directing the traffic. Edo. Oh, Sean Hoppy. Couldn't hold on to it. The Kumals messed it up as well. We'll play the first knock on the quarter line.
Trying to get out of the way. He is, mate.
We see on the line red replay, great inside ball from Tony Kemp to his centre partner, Kevin Edel. They've played a lot of football together. The chemistry and the communication between them is good. And the referee, Greg McCallum, gets a piece of the action too.
And nice to hear McCallum live on One World of Sport apologising to Kevin. Emil, the danger man for PNG, but they haven't had the ball up until now.
Kiwi, it'll be very interesting to see the defence pattern operated by the Kiwis this year.
Well, one thing they've got to do is shut down the bigger fellas, the forwards, to set their momentum for the rest of the game. One player I'd like to see get involved a little more. I know it's only early, but Quentin Pongia hasn't as yet touched the ball. But taking the tackles, he's certainly doing his job there. But I'm sure he's feeling his way. But if he wants to get back into the game, let's start up fairly quick.
Pongia in his debut has been the former second rower in the Lion Red National Championship this year. Emil for Papua New Guinea. This is what they love to do. They love to get it into open spaces. The vice-captain, Richard Wagabi, was the first one there for Papua New Guinea, but Rich had it under control. Now it's Sean Hoppy.
Huey, that bloke there, Sean Hoppy, I've been a big fan of his. He's been very impressive early in the tackle counts for Canberra, running from dummy half and taking the ball up strongly, hasn't he?
Oh, very much so. And before this year, I didn't know much about Sean myself, but certainly since he's come to Canberra, has had a tremendous start to the season, culminating in his Kiwi selection, and hopefully it's a start for a good season for him.
Sean Hoppy, the Canberra Raider. He played for Auckland against the Raiders at Carlaw Park earlier in the year, and he impressed the Winfield Cup team, and they scooped him up. It's been a great season for the former junior Kiwi and New Zealand Māori representative. The PNG ball just inside Kiwi territory with the scrum. August, Joseph had a go on his own.
Gee, they look very good, the Cornwalls, when they spread the ball. The Kiwis are going to have to shut them down on the edge, aren't they, Hugh?
Oh, very much so. Quentin Ponga was, I talked about him before. What a hit to stop that player.
Yeah, he's got plenty of aggression.
Keep an eye on the inside backs for Papua New Guinea. They're very dangerous.
Yeah, the hooker there, Greg Michael Matt-Mueller, had a very strong game against the Colts last week, and the halfback's a fair player too.
Emil looking for the gap that had soon closed. Penalty to Papua New Guinea.
Hey. You got the penalty.
Penalty to the Kumals. And you heard it live on One World of Sport. Greg McCallum, 35 years of age today. Happy birthday.
I'm sure he would have loved to have said the player's name, but like most of us, it's very hard to know who's playing out there in those yellow and red jerseys.
Yeah, the Lion Red replay. Papua New Guinea player goes in, the halfback, and Gary Freeman, ever the competitor, ripped the ball out. That's a good decision from referee Greg McCallum.
One of the big problems for Papua New Guinea on the tour so far has been their goal kicking. This is Karu. And again, a look of some worried men on the Papua New Guinea bench. On tour, the Kumals have lost 14-10 to Hawke's Bay. They beat the Kiwi Colts 36-16 and then lost 43-26 to Northland. But the losses to Hawke's Bay and Northland were midweek games. Oh, that's a shocker.
Huey, the Kumals look a little bit off their game. You know, their go-forward's not as established as it could be. Well, they just look like they've started badly, haven't they?
They really haven't had the ball to do anything. Now, I think they're a little shell-shocked after the start by the Kiwis, but let's give them time. Let's not write them off too early. I'm sure that they'll settle themselves into the game and come back before too long.
Kenny Tardy. Midway, halfway in the quarter line. 10 minutes gone in the first half. New Zealand leading by 10 points to 0. 2 tries to 0. Matt Billow, Emil, Karu brings a fullback bogey into the line. But they really aren't breaking the advantage line. Almost to the halfway line.
There's a lot of stuff going across field here, but not much momentum going forward, is there?
Not when you look at the way it was, but it was great sliding defence by the Kiwis. They were talking to each other as they were going across. That's a great start. If they can communicate like that, they're in for a good game.
Matt Milo turns it back inside to Ben Beatty. Now he's 105 kgs and the biggest man in the Kumal pack. Karu trying to redeem himself after that penalty attempt. Ritchie inside his own quarter.
Huey, there wouldn't be a better rugby union convert to rugby league than Matthew Rich. He's just been sensational and he's so consistent, isn't he?
That's you hit it right on the head there, Ken. Consistency is a part of this game that everyone needs to be if they want to go anywhere. And Matthew Rich, he certainly epitomises that.
Let the man go. Don't hold on to him.
And he's got plenty of courage, hasn't he? Plenty of ticker.
Oh, no doubt at all. You can never underestimate Matthew Rich.
Rich kicking for the grandstand touch. The inclement weather has kept the crowd away today, which is a little unfortunate because so far it's been a very entertaining match. Hope you're enjoying it on One World of Sport.
Huey, that player there, Brent Stewart's had a top season in the Lion Red Provincial Championships and thoroughly deserves his place today, doesn't he?
From what I've heard from all reports he's had a terrific year, but I was very impressed with him at the start of the year when Eastern Suburbs came over to play a selection team from the South Island. Brett Short was far and away their best forward, and I've been more than impressed by him. Along with this player, Quentin Pongia.
And Ridge up into the movement, just couldn't free his hands, but the Kiwis on a bit of a roll. 10 metres out, leading 10 points to nil. Wayne Baird shows it. Tawana Nikau out to Sean Hoppy, turning in the tackle, held up. 2 metres out, Pongia charging at the line. Quentin Pongia is going to score. No, he's put it down. Unlucky for Quentin Pongia.
Yeah, it was always going to be a big ask for Quentin Pongia in traffic, trying to put the ball down. Good defensive effort by the Kummels there.
Hamill puts it in and takes it out for Papua New Guinea. Hamill, he can't get away from Freeman. I told you, he's the danger man right on the halfway line.
Yeah, that was a great chase from Gary Freeman to catch him from behind. He gave him 5 or 6 metre start.
Matt Billow and Freeman's in there along with Dean Clark, 5 metres inside New Zealand territory. Danny Yer. It's his second test. He's only 20 years of age, the second rower, the youngster of the team. Carew, Hamill, they're a little bit flat-footed down the blind side. Nowhere to go for August Joseph, the centre. Carew. Tony Kemp.
Yeah, that was a great hit from Tony Kemp, and it's a real hallmark of his play. He's done plenty of hits like that in the Whitfield Cup, hasn't he, Hugh?
Oh, yes, and he read that exceptionally well. He had to make that play, actually, because the ball had got outside. There's about 6 overlap for the Kumul team.
Well, Ridge read into Kenny Tani. Now it's Blackmore in from the wing, doing a bit of the donkey work. Brent Todd on the roll. Almost to the halfway line.
Yeah, that was a great run from Brent Todd, taking the ball on the advantage line. Good to see. And another good, strong run coming.
And this is all brought about by quick play of the ball, something the Papua New Guinea team haven't as yet got used to, and I don't think Brent Todd's run that far in his life.
Yeah, there's a real reluctance from the Kummels to move up both sides of the play the ball, isn't there, Huey?
As we can see, Kevin Oro, great ball out to Richie Blackmore.
1-on-1, Richie Blackmore. This is his second try in the match. What a finisher. Richard Blackmore from Castleford and Otahu in Auckland. His 6th test, and that's his 7th try in his test career. Good stuff. Yeah, one world of sport in Lion Red have brought lots of try-scoring action, and here's another great example. We see on the Lion Red replay, the long ball finds Tony Kemp, shapes to go inside, gives a great short ball to his partner, Kevin Edel. He picks up Richard Blackmore on the edge, a little bit of a hesitation to get rid of the last defender. Too big, too strong. Richard Blackmore goes over in the corner, scored many great tries, and there's another one.
Great enterprise by the Kiwis. Again, they're throwing the ball out wide, catching the Papua New Guinea defence at 6s and 7s. And a great understanding here, Tony Kemp, Kevin Oro in an exceptional ball. Here we see some fleet-footed work by Richie Blackmore, along with strength. Great leg drive that he has got, and that's enough to get him over to the line.
Matthew Ridge to try and convert Blackmore's try. 14-0. In concentration on the Manly Warringah fullback's face. From the touchline. What a kick! Matthew Ridge makes it 2 from 3, and after 16 minutes of play, 16-0.
Yeah, I was just going to say to Huey Greg that there's been plenty of questions asked about this centre combination, but that great ball from one player to another is one of the clear indications of why they were selected together to represent New Zealand, and they're going to serve the Kiwis well in the 90s. You can be guaranteed about that, Huey.
Yeah, no doubt about that at all. They've been a centre combination with the junior Kiwis that showed that understanding here again today. But Richie Blackmore, geez, that is just absolute strength. So close to the sideline and still being able to get over the top like that.
Huey, have you noticed from kickoffs, the Papua New Guinea side haven't yet been able to get past the 22. Their chasing games from their kickers not good.
Well, it's an essential part of the game, the kick and chase game by any team, wherever you're playing. And it's probably still a learning period for this Papua New Guinea team. They're probably in a rebuilding stage, but these players certainly show a lot of desire.
Well, 16 minutes gone, 16-0, so it's a point a minute. And of course, after the match, we have to name our Ubix MVP, player of the day, and that's going to be pretty difficult in this New Zealand team, the way they're going at the moment. But the kick is going to be too big. So it'll be a restart on the quarter line for Papua New Guinea. A chance for them to regroup. Let's have a listen to the referee's call. The skipper out.
All right. Let go. They must let go in the tackle.
Banberry. That's skipper number 10.
There's one thing that the Kiwis do need to do today, Greg, is that they need to defend very, very strongly with a lot of intensity, bearing in mind that they've got a tough one next week.
3 Kiwis in there. Big hit. Nepal. Hamill, Karu to reach back for it. Joseph, Bogey, Karu. Freeman has him, but he still gets the pass away to the vice-captain, Richard Wagambi. He's a nippy little player, but
yeah, that was
good
a great
defence there
tackle
from Pongia.
Yeah, very good tackle around the legs.
You're enough. Reg in good position.
Huey, that was a fair set of 6 from the Kumals. They managed from the tap 22 to get a good 15 metres. If they can maintain field position here, they could be competitive.
That's the whole idea of the game, is try and hold possession for 6 tackles. Do what you can with 6, and if nothing comes off, kick and chase. But with that kick and chase, they need to keep New Zealand down in this half. After 1 tackle, 2 tackles, Sean Hoppy already takes them over into their own half.
Good run by Hoppy. Midway, halfway in the quarter line, Papua New Guinea end of the ground.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that we haven't seen more of Sean Hoppy earlier in the Kiwi jersey, but his time's certainly come now.
Mistake from Pongia, who lost it in the tackle, but play on for the Kumals. And gee, they're very quick off the mark. August Joseph from Ramal, his 2nd test, 24 years of age. Now this is the 2nd row, the youngster, 20-year-old Nandi Yer from Lay, his 2nd test. Emil Karu brings Bogey in from fullback. And that's Kinitani, the kick ahead. The Bridge read it pretty well. Play on. Good work from Bridge.
Oh, that was a sensational bit of skill from Matthew. He's a good player, isn't he, Hugh?
Oh, very much so. But again, I stress the point. Tony Kemp was talking exceptionally well in that sliding defence. Was picking out the players. Everyone knew who they had, and that's great when the players can't talk to each other like that and know where they're going.
Yes, it's a mark of a good side, isn't it? If you get out talked, you get out played.
Very much so. But one thing we've got to be careful of, the Kiwis have had a dream start to this. I don't think they'd expected this type of start. Let's just stick to the game plan and just continue the way that we have.
Up over halfway. Kevin Arrow burst through a couple. Gary Freeman. I think one of the Kiwis was held there. I think it was, but the Kumals come away with it. Emil.
Yeah, one thing the Kiwis have got to watch out for, Huey, is that they don't get too loose. You know, with the 20, as we approach the 20-minute mark, they're better to just go forward, complete their sets of 6, get good field position and wait for the opportunity to come rather than try and manufacture it.
Well, that's right. They've got to make things happen rather than just wait for them to happen. But still, in saying that, they've got to make sure that they stick to their plan. I'm sure Howie Tamati would have drummed into them through the week that it may be an easier game that they may come up against, but still, stick to the game plan, fellas.
Wagambi with the kick, and again, Rich is in a beautiful position.
Huey, there was some controversy at the end of the Manly East game last week that Richie might have been cited for an alleged headbutt. Was there any developments on that?
Well, no, the club decided not to take any action against Matthew. They thought that there was nothing in it, and looking back on the replay, you probably understand that. But Matthew, if there was any question about it, he has to think about that play that he did put on.
Having the Kiwi captain at least might have helped too, mate.
Well, I won't say anything.
Gary Freeman throws it back to nobody, cleaned up by Tony Kemp, flicks it back to Ridge, out to Richie Blackmore. Have a replacement for the Kumals. Number 16, Coral Sinamau is on. Coral Sinamau replacing number 1, Philip Bogey. Bad luck for Bogey. It's his 9th test today. Now that's the 5th tackle. Freeman out to Todd. Richie Blackmore. This time he won't get away. Pops it back inside to Tony Kemp. And that's a forward pass. No try. The referee was right on the spot. Shepherd,
one of the best referees in the Whitfield Cup competition, Greg McCullum, ruled here that inside ball from Tony Kemp was fair, but when he steps off his right foot to go around Gary Freeman, that he ruled an obstruction. It's a very good decision from Greg McCullum.
The Kumals inside their own half, where they've been parked for most of this match. We've had 22 minutes of play. New Zealand leading 16-0, 3 tries to nil.
Huey, Brent Todd's having a sensational season with the Gold Coast. It's working very hard so far today, isn't he?
Again, a true professional, Toddy, and certainly with Gold Coast. He's virtually running the team up there along with Wally Lewis. He's got great respect by players, by everyone, Toddy, and certainly everyone will listen to him.
Wagambi got away from Hill, and he runs into Dwayne Mann. Matt Bellow. Good ball out to Yer. 5th tackle. Emil. Sean Hoppy. Back to Ridge. Nowhere to go. Looking for support, but he's wrapped up by August Joseph.
Yeah, and that was a sensible thing to do. There was an indication there that he may have forced a 50-50 ball. In the end, good play.
Good work from the Kiwi forwards. Gavin Hill taking the tackle 8 metres inside Papua New Guinea territory. We thought that the replacement was going to go on for Papua New Guinea, but fullback Philip Bogey is on the field, refuses to go off. Blackmore keeping it alive, and it goes to Brent Stewart to the quarter line.
Huey, we've seen some great bit of skill from the Kiwi side so far, individually.
Individually, yeah, exactly. And as a team, they've worked well as a team. The enthusiasm is just, it's just amazing the way that everyone's just backing up, as we see here.
Dean Clark, try to New Zealand. The Papua New Guinea defence at 6s and 7s. Good stuff from Papua, from New Zealand. That's their 4th try. 23 minutes gone.
Yes, and there's been one position in this 1992 Kiwi side that the selectors have been concerned about, and that's been the position of 5'8", and eventually I went to Dean Clark. We see on the Lion Red replay. That's a great ball from Quentin Ponga to his captain, Gary Freeman. Goes back the other way. Ball over the top from Todd to Nikau. Dean Clark shows a good dummy to go over strongly for a very good try.
Again, very good lead-up work by the Kiwis. They're just running this Papua New Guinea team ragged. Great short balls here. Tawira Nikau across the ruck. And again, Quentin Ponga, geez, that's a great start to his career, throwing balls like that in his first test. Toddy, basketball style over the top. Tawira for his second time. Any one of a number of players could have scored this. Dean Clark on the spot.
Matthew Ridge trying to add the extras. Well, you don't see Matthew Ridge missing kicks like that too often. Well, I guess even a champion goal kicker can have an off day. Dean Clark, the try scorer, was unconverted.
Yes, one player who's had an exceptional provincial series in the Lion Red Provincial Championship this year has been Dean Clark. We see on the end of the Lion Red replay, great short ball to Brent Todd, ball over the top to Nikau, wait for Dean Clark to make the run, and it shows the ball to Kevin Needle, goes himself. Good strength from Dean Clark.
So after 25 minutes of play in the first half, it's New Zealand leading by 20 points to 0. Nikau.
Yeah, that very strong returning of the football by Tara Nikau. He's very good at that, isn't he, Hugh?
He's one of those players, class players, and has learned exceptionally well. His ball skills have probably been improved going to Castleford in the off-season. He's come back tremendous player. Along with this player, Dwayne Mann.
Quentin Ponga up over the halfway line. He's growing in confidence, the second rower. Just couldn't get his hands free. He had Freeman and Errol looming up. Now it's Gavin Hill. He throws the dummy. Brad Stewart. Good ball back to Dean Clark. Chance for Hoppy. Back inside goes Sean Hoppy. Getting close to the line. He's pulled down 1 metre out. Dwayne Mann back inside. Gavin Hill takes them on. There's no way through. Good defence from Napau, the second row, number 12. Freeman. Pongia. Good ball and all tackle from Gisbay. That's the 6th tackle. Good defence from PNG on that occasion.
Yeah, that was a very important tackle by the Papua New Guinea loose forward, Gisbay. Huey, that was a crucial play, wasn't it?
Very much so. He had to stop that ball on the spot, and stopping a man like Gavin Hill in such a short step like that had to be made. It was a good play by them. But again, let's just see if New Guinea can come back from this. They've got to make some hard yards out of their own quarter. But if their kicking game is right, then things will start rolling off.
Yeah, Huey hasn't Quentin Pongia had a strong start to the game. Very good at carting the ball up and a couple of big hits, hasn't he?
Very quiet start initially by Quentin, but since then I think he must have heard me out there. He has got himself involved tremendously well, and things have really started to roll on for him, as I mentioned earlier.
Injury to one of the PNG players.
Hey, Stoney's legal. It's all right. No, stay there. Don't move. I think he might have done his ankle here.
Jack Uradok in a lot of pain, and that's unfortunate for the 24-year-old from the Defence Club in Port Moresby. He was flown into Auckland just this week as a replacement, and the leg got caught under the... Oh, yeah.
Just on that line read replay, Greg, no question about the courage of Matthew Ridge.
Howie Tamati, he'd be enjoying his first Test match. Mark Woods, Daryl Halligan, Te Aropati. 3 of the 4 Kiwi reserves. Now, this is Jack Uradok, and this is unfortunate. There's a good chase from Uradok, and it was only the courage from Matthew Ridge that stopped him from getting the ball and creating some problems for the Kiwis.
Huey, this is one of the sad parts of the game. No one likes to see that, do they?
Not, especially the way that it happened. His leg got caught under Matthew Ridge. He showed a tremendous amount of speed to get down. As we see his leg go underneath, blocked, and going over the same time. Oh, very, very unlucky. And as he comes off, he'll be replaced by Coral Sinimau.
Sinimau, 24. This is his 5th Test from Lae.
Papua New Guinea, number 2, 20 Tanners, replaced by number 16, Coral Sinimau.
Play on. 27 minutes of play gone. New Zealand leading 20 points to 0. Brent Stewart.
Yeah, that's very good play by the Kiwis. Brent Todd taking the first ball, Brent Stewart the second. They're obviously setting for a big play on 4 or 5.
People on the West Coast should be very proud of a couple of their boys today. Brent Stewart and Quentin Pongia playing in the Kiwi jersey for the first time. Of course, they're now playing for Canterbury. But once a West Coaster, always a West Coaster. Gavin Hill, shot of the front row there, and Brent Todd. Emil, Carew. This is out one, not the good pass, but a good take from Wagambi, the younger brother of the PNG coach, John Wagambi. Bergie. 10 metres from halfway. Karen Afford plays it. Emil, he's been bottled up. Carew looking for open spaces, but Freeman's back there. On the halfway line, there's a standoff.
But very well read by Gary Freeman. He could see that coming, and he was covering him behind like a good halfback should do, and leading this team as captain by example.
Yeah, and that's a big call on the Kiwis too. If you play a compressed line and slide defence and have a player out with a sweeper, Huey, it can be difficult if they get the ball on the outside. Well read by the Kiwis, wasn't it?
It's exceptionally well read by the team, and it's good to see them sticking to their game plan. They're certainly using their forwards, and I'm sure Howie would want them to do, and using their enterprise after.
Oh, a mistake there, but cleaned up by Quentin Pongia. He won't get away from Carew, but he pops the ball back. Brent Stewart comes away with it, keeps it alive. That's Gavin Hill. 20 metres inside PNG territory. That's a 6 tackle because it was kicked into the legs of one of the PNG players. The handover.
Huey, this has been an area where the Kumuls have struggled. They just haven't been able to get field position, have they?
not when they come up with mistakes like that, but it's great defence by the New Zealand team.
And Edo gets it out to Sean Hoppy. And that's forward.
Ball forward.
Well, Sean Hoppy's been threatening to score a try so far in the first half. Just can't pull it off. Things not going his way at the moment.
Yes, and I think on the line red replay, you see that Sean Hoppy wasn't quite expecting that ball to come as soon as it did, and it was just adjudged forward. Good decision by Greg McCallum.
Emil, Nukau and Pongi wrap him up.
There's one thing we can hear through the microphones on the side, if everyone at home can hear, that just how much talk is going on in this Kiwi team. It's great to see, and it's good communication by all players.
And they couldn't want a better build-up too with a big game next week as well, Huey. It's got to be good for them.
Very much so. Very, very much so.
So communication is the key to success, even in rugby league. You've got to plug the gaps, talk to your friends, make sure they get to their man. Carew, Emil, Sinamau, the replacement. Carol Sinamau, good ball inside to Bogue, up over the halfway line. This is the PNG that we know, but Carew has put it down. See if he could have held that pass. It was danger for New Zealand.
Again, that's great defence from the Kiwi side, and it's been a hallmark of their play so far today, Huey. And, you know, to have a good slide and good defence, you've got to have a good talking game, don't you? And
once we say that, once the line is broken as it was, there was good scrambling by the Kiwi team. But again, we emphasise the point of everyone talking. If a team isn't talking to each other, then it certainly won't function. Everyone's got to know what's going on.
Chance here, but that was forward. Greg McCallum right on the line, the 10-metre line, and you can see that the ball went forward. And Greg McCallum's telling Brent Todd how to play the game.
Yeah, we see on the line red replay, definitely forward, and the referee was well placed to make that decision. In the Winfield Cup this year, Huey, there's been a lot of games decided on forward passes that were missed by referees, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's a shame that things like that happen, and I know Manly would be one team, Graham Lowe would be one coach who's been on the receiving end of quite a few of those decisions, and that has cost them games, and certainly they were on his side. They would be sitting in a different position as they are at the moment.
Yeah, well, there was one big decision when Manly played Newcastle out here a couple of months ago. That was a crucial one, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely, and it was from Tony Kemp, with him being in the side, but certainly they are vital decisions by referees, but we've got to look at them also. They can't be everywhere at once, but as long as all we ask for is consistency as far as referees are concerned.
Greg McCallum, today's referee, has been pretty consistent.
Yes, he's one of the best in the business, Greg, isn't he?
Brett Stewart. 33 minutes gone. New Zealand leading Papua New Guinea 20-0 as they build up for the two-test series against Great Britain. And you can see coverage of the Great Britain tour on One World of Sport. First test in Palmerston North next Sunday. On Wednesday night, we'd like to see a big crowd at Carlaw Park to see Auckland take on the Lions. Doge, he's made a mess of it. Sean Hoppy is there. Ridge is there. No try. Kick dead. So close.
Yes, very smart play by Auckland 5'8", Dean Clark. On the line red replay, we just pick up the end of it. Matthew Ridge tries to keep control of it, but the Papua New Guinea boot will come into picture now. Goes dead. That's a goal line dropout. The Kiwis get another set of 6. That's good pressure, isn't it, Hugh?
It's good pressure by them, but I don't think the rest of the players knew what Dean Clark had in mind there. It was something that a lot of the players were still standing back waiting to see what was happening, and Dean put one over the top. But in the long run, it probably was so close to come in for a try, but just unfortunate.
Ryan Mann waits for it. Gavin Hill. Have you been impressed with him so far, Hugh, his first test?
First test, been impressed by quite a few of the forwards. We'll look at the experience of players like Brent Todd here, the inexperience of Brent Stewart as he goes into the corner, and he scores himself a try.
His first test. The former West Coaster now playing for Canterbury. Well done, Brent. If anyone deserves a try in any game of football that Stewart plays in, it's certainly Stewart.
See on the line red replay, the long ball from Dwayne Mann from out to Todd, picks up his propping partner Brent Stewart, and there'll be plenty back standing out wide screaming for the ball, upset about that, but that's a great try, well deserved, wasn't it, Hugh?
Very much so. Again, we talk about the experienced players. Brent Todd using an old move from Canberra, likes to draw in the defence, picks up his prop partner in Brent Stewart, who just easily breaks the tackle. Again, it's just brute strength that takes Brent over the line.
We see once again a One World of Sport Lion Red replay action. Brent Stewart, the Canterbury front row, performed very, very credibly in the Lion Red Provincial Series this year. Just too strong for the tackle of Akila Imul.
Still plenty of talking going on in the Kiwi camp, but they'd have to be pretty happy with their start.
There was a similar start in Melbourne last year, Huey.
Yes, similar start, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the rest of this game. But again, Matthew Ridge to take this conversion out wide. Let's see if he can be successful this time.
From the sideline, pretty good attempt, but it's away to the left. So after 37 minutes of play, New Zealand leading by 24 points to 0. Brent Stewart loves to take the ball up. He'll work all day. I think he'd be enjoying playing with one of his idols, Brent Todd, both from the South Island. I'm sure Toddy's going to have a big influence on Brent Stewart. Ridge. Nikau. Up to the quarter line.
Gee, he runs the ball up strongly, doesn't he, Hugh?
He's one player actually mentioned. I was going to mention prior to Brent Stewart kicking of scoring that the experienced players in this side, and especially in the forward pack, Taru Nikau is doing a lot of talking out there. Maybe a sign for the times for the future as far as Tawera is concerned. But it's great to see a player of his calibre, who actually had a fairly quiet season last year, really start taking the reins.
Tony Kemp, he's put it down. Kieran Afford was there, the captain. And really, he needs to pull out all stops to get the Kumals back into this game.
Still, one thing very impressive leading up to that mistake, Hugh, is the amount of yardage that the Kiwis are being able to gain on 2 tackles.
Well, again, it comes down to the way that they've got quick play of the balls, and there's great support play by all the players, and there's determination in the way that they're taking the ball forward.
Gee, that was a good defensive effort. This game so far, Huey, would be a great training tape for sliding defence. The Kiwis have done it very well, haven't they?
Again, as we see it come across, Tony Kemp talking to his winger, Richard Blackmore, on the outside. Richie knows where he is, and the players inside Tony know exactly where they're going. As long as everyone works in the sliding defence, that type of defence is very, very effective.
As the Kumals are keeping it alive, but they're not really breaking the advantage line, and they've made a mistake. There was a big hit there.
Great hit by Dwayne Mann.
He is uncompromising compared to Dwayne Mann. He's been a great servant for the game too, hasn't he, Hugh?
He's been the type of play that New Zealand really need.
Sean Hoppy. Good last line of defence from Dogate. Dwayne Mann. Hill. Pongia. There's a line-up out here. It's 3-on-2. Tony Kemp gets it out to Richard Blackmore. This is his 3rd try. And it's only the first half. Good stuff from Richard Blackmore. Gee, what a finisher this man is. And what a find for rugby league over the last 2 seasons. 8 tries in only 6 tests.
Yeah, that was a sensational effort from the whole Kiwi side, and significant too, because on the play leading up to this, it was Sean Hoppy that played the ball. We see on the Lion Red replay, the Kiwis go for the hot ball from one side of the park to the other, looking for the momentum, and the big play comes from a great short ball from Tony Kemp. Unselfish ball to Richard Blackmore. He's just too fast for the Kumals. He won't get an easier try in 1992 than that one. It's well deserved too. He's played strongly. 3 tries already.
Very much so. This is the way that the Kiwis like to play the ball. They like to throw it around. And what's good about it is that there's no cutout passes played. They're starting to play the passes. They're starting to play the men. Richie Blackmore on the outside. 3 tries before halftime. Actually, when you look at this, I had 3 tries before halftime when my test against Papua New Guinea. Let's see what happened with Richie Blackmore.
He's not happy. Matthew Ridge, it's away to the left again. Not his best kicking day, but he's having a great game in general play. Richie Blackmore, 3 tries. So in 1983, Hume again scored a world record 6 tries.
Yes, the replay action again, and it's great stuff as well. Makes excellent viewing. Dean Clark to Tony Kemp, holds up the ball, a great short ball to Richard Blackmore, and he's just too fast for the Kumals defence. Can't scramble quick enough to get across. That's a very good try. That'll be the end of the Kumals in this match.
And it is half-time at Carlaw Park. One World of Sport, the first test for the Kiwis in 1992, and it's been a promising start. They're leading Papua New Guinea by 28-0. We'll be back right after this break. Dean Clark throws it out to nobody, but good hands from Big Cabanero. Back it goes now. Gavin Hill. That's the big tackle. Good defence so far from the Kumals. The grubber kick through. It's into open spaces. Tony Kemp.
The real reluctance from the Kumals to move up both sides of the play the ball, isn't there, Huey?
As we can see, Kevin Ora, a great ball out to Richie Blackmore.
One-on-one. Richie Blackmore. This is his second try in the match. What a finisher. Richard Blackmore from Castleford out of Tahahu in Auckland. His 6th test, and that's his 7th try in his test career. Good stuff. We're underway for the second spell, and the Kiwis' opening test match for 1992 building up to what will be a tough series. And what a great start to the second half by Gavin Hill. Up over the halfway line. Gavin Hill. Dwayne Mann is leaking up on the inside. Freeman was there, but the defence finally got him. An electrifying start to the second half by Hill. Freeman, Clark, Stewart. 12 metres out from the line. The Kumals were shell-shocked by the Canterbury Bankstown second rower. Brent Todd. Matthew Ridge try. In the first set of 6 in the second half. New Zealand leading 32 points to 0. Not even a minute up on the clock in the second half. The fans are happy, and why not? Matthew Ridge's first test try for New Zealand. It's his 5th test today. He made his debut in 1990. Missed 5 tests last year because he was unavailable. Let's have a look at the One World of Sport line red replay.
Yeah, Dwayne Mann at dummy half. Picks up Brent Todd, gives a short ball to Tara Nikau, wraps around him, gets the ball back one-handed. Sensational bit of skill from the Kiwi vice-captain. Matthew Ridge got all the work to do. That's a terrific try. Matthew Ridge's name's on it, but Gavin Hill did all the work, didn't he?
That's where it all started from Gavin Hill. As we see the play the ball, good service again from Dwayne Mann. Toddy gets himself involved again here for the second time. A lot of work to do, but still able to pop up a short ball. Underestimated Brent Todd as far as that is concerned. Matthew Ridge would be extremely happy with that try.
Well, a difficult conversion attempt again for Matthew Ridge. He's on the quarter line. Again, it's away to the left. So Matthew Ridge unable to convert his own try, but the scoreboard looks pretty good, 32-0.
Yes, the lead-up try came to this. You don't get it in the replay, but look at the good 1-2 play from Brent Todd to Nikau. Wraps around him. That's a great bit of skill from a front rower. Gives a short ball to Matthew Ridge, in on the corner. Good bit of football.
Ridge, this time it's Quentin Pongia. He wants to take them on like his second row partner, Gavin Hill.
One area of the game where the Kiwis have been impressive has been their ability to advance the football and get good metres.
As we see again through Brent Stewart and Gavin Hill again, he's had a great start to this first half. One thing we probably need to emphasise as far as the Kiwis are concerned, they're just taking the ball short of the advantage line. I think they could be getting up a lot closer to the advantage line and probably making even more yardage.
Inside to Dwayne Mann. Still going the hooker. Blackmore steps back inside, pushes off one, and it goes to Gary Freeman, as simple as that. Trying to the skipper.
Well, One World of Sport and Lion Red have brought some sensational highlights in 1992. There's been some fabulous tries scored, and this is another great one too, with the Kiwi side that began with possession of the ball back down deep in their own quarter. We see the elusive skills of Kevin Edel. Offloads a great ball to Dwayne Mann. He has plenty of work to do with a good right foot step. Fights his way out of the tackle, stays on his feet, gets a call on the outside from Richard Blackmore. Great step off the left foot. There, too big, too strong. Gives it back to Gary Freeman. Backing up, a hallmark of his play. That's a terrific bit of football.
Another conversion attempt by Matthew Ridge. This time he's pushed it away to the right. Well, 2 from 8 for Matthew Ridge, and Huey, what do you put that down to? A guy like Ridge, he won't be happy with that sort of record.
No, he definitely won't be, but as we see this try here again, Kevin Iro, again we were talking about pace and strength. Kevin Iro has got all of that. Again, this is reminiscent of the first test 1989 versus Great Britain. Dwayne Mann was able to offload, again, strength by Richie Blackmore. We see again a good offload to Gary Freeman, again as a reminiscence of that 89 tour. It started with Dwayne Mann and finished with Gary Freeman.
Freeman at his 29th test, his debut in 1986, and they've been pretty busy today, haven't they? The cheerleaders for the New Zealanders, a mistake by PNG out on the full. So nothing going right for the Kummels. Michael Matt Billow, the hooker.
Yes, well, at this level of football, that's an absolutely unforgivable error, isn't it?
Hemmel, the classy halfback, has been shut down well and truly today. He's come up against a classy performer in Gary Freeman, as Ridge will find touch on the old grandstand side.
One thing we've got to be, I've got to feel sorry for Papua New Guinea, the way they're playing at the moment. I think most people here will also feel a little sorry, and if they get to the score, I think it'll bring the house down.
Pongia cleaned up.
Yeah, that's one thing that the Kiwis have got to watch out for, that they don't get loose. Even though they are points up, they've still got to play with a professional attitude.
There's probably one point at half-time Howie Tamati would be emphasising the shutout by the Kiwis. I know a lot of the players would be disappointed in Papua New Guinea that were able to score.
Big hit there from Kieran Naffin on his opposite number, Brent Todd. But the Kiwis inside. The quarter from that play, the ball, Tony Kemp. Kemp couldn't quite link up with Kevin Ito, his centre partner. But those two guys have been trying to work on their combination all week. The two centres, and so far so good. It just didn't quite come off then.
Yes, we've seen 2 errant passes though in this set of 6. The Kiwis have got to watch out that they don't lower their standards. They've got to maintain a high level of competitiveness.
Yeah, he was hurt in that tackle there. It's actually his elbow that's causing him a little concern. And we'll see another player make his debut today. No, Tia Rapati coming on, actually.
Well, Tia's had a great season for St Helens in the British season and had a very good Kiwi trial and must have really pushed Dean Clark for the standoff spot.
Yeah, that's a good bit of aggression from Dean Clark, making sure he does the job properly. Good Idaho stuff, isn't it?
It's good to see Dean Clark come back into test football again. He was out for a season or 2. Didn't have a very good series against Great Britain in 1990, but he's fought back. It's shown the professionalism of the way. And again, you said he's an Otahu boy.
You wouldn't be biased to him again, would you?
Not at all.
Kieran Naffin charging into them.
Gee, I've been impressed with Quentin Pongia. He's played very strongly in defence.
Good tackle. Again, it shows that it highlights the support play by Papua New Guinea. If they're given room to move and support as they are, as they've been throwing the ball around, they can come up with anything.
Oh, what a shocking pass.
Except for Steve
didn't come up with anything. You read it. Freeman out to Gavin Hill. He takes them on again.
We see
this is not from the textbook.
Yeah, that's a terrible pass from Papua New Guinea.
10 minutes gone in the second half. New Zealand 36, Papua New Guinea 0. That's the quarter line. PNG end of the ground. Hobby to play it. Freeman. Dean Clark. His opposite number, Garrow, was very quick to snuff that one out. Inside to Tawananigau. Good ball back inside, but it went to ground. They come away with it though. And Tia Ropati gets it back to Dwayne Mann. He'll score between the sticks. So after playing a big role in Matthew Ridge's try, Mann decides to score one himself.
Yes, well, Gary Freeman didn't have a starring role in the scoring of this try, but he was very, very influential operating at first receiver. We see there on the line, when replay puts the ball inside to Taraneka. He gets back an untidy ball, but Dwayne Mann tidies up quickly. Good step off the right foot to beat Michael Matt Miller. Gives off a great ball. Tia Ropati was sensational for St Helens this year. Continues a good form. And Dwayne Mann supporting on the inside as all good hookers do. Scores a terrific try, Hugh.
Great support by Dwayne Mann. To me, he's given good service today from the dummy half roll. That's great for Dwayne, and that's complemented by a try under the post. Here we go, let's see again, Gary Freeman turning back on the inside. Tauirenika shows great skill. He probably didn't have to push that pass, but it come up trust from Dwayne Mann. Again, showing enterprise, showing great support play, and still kept himself alive to take this final pass to go around under the sticks and take New Zealand out to a 42-0 scoreline.
Yes, Mann's try was converted from right in front by Matthew Ridge. Up to the quarter line.
That's a very difficult thing to do in football as well. Early in the tackle, cannot have from kick-off return the football, and Tauirenika does it very well, doesn't he?
Tia Ropati toured with the Kiwis twice, in 86 and 89, but this is his first test. Big day for yet another one of the Ropati brothers, following on from his brother Joe in the Kiwi jersey. And Brendan Tudor is on as well, number 15, back in the Kiwis after missing out for a season or two. Now it's Ropati, pushes out of one. Dean Clark, grabbed up by Ben Berry. He was held. Still passed.
As we see Brendan Tudor in the background there, he's actually gone on to replace Brent Todd.
Kevin Ito, pretty good form for the Kiwis again today. Ben Berry getting a bit of the magic water.
It's been a dream start in the second half for the Kiwis. Now they've just got to regroup, and they've got to put in a big effort in defence here.
August Joseph. Let's see what the Kumals can do now. They're inside New Zealand territory. That's the skipper, Kieran Naffin. Good run from the prop up to the quarter line. Madbillo waits for it. Emil. Aquila Emil having a go on his own, but Tudor read it pretty well. Freeman there as well. Carew. This is out Bogue. Coral Cinemau, one of the replacements for the Kumals. Grabbed up. Hill and Nikar doing the tackling. Bogue. Carew. Long ball out to Richard Woodgamby. A chance out wide for them now. Kenny Tani, but the sliding defence has wrapped it up again. 42-0. The Kiwis in control. Carew, the bomb inside the corner. Ridge waits for it. Sliding loose on the ground. Try to Papua New Guinea. Kenny Tani right on the spot after that mix-up by the New Zealanders. The referee said, play on. They're on the scoreboard.
Well, it really was an opportunist try, and I don't believe, Huey, and you probably agree with this, that there wasn't such a good lead-up for it, because the three previous rucks, they just went sideline to sideline. They got to the last tackle, put up a kick, and Matthew Ridge had plenty of work to do there, but he got the ball in traffic and couldn't control it. Papua New Guinea come up with a fortuitous try in the end.
I'd have to agree. They've been throwing the ball around. They've been playing speculative football. And in speculative football, they throw this one up. There's great work initially by Matthew Ridge. Got to the ball, just wasn't able to control it. Papua New Guinea on hand, and I know New Zealand would not be happy with that at all.
But this man is pretty happy. Kenny Tane from Port Moresby, the DCA club, his second test, 23 years of age.
Yes, even though they are points ahead, Q, the competitiveness and intensity at this level has got to be absolute, and sure, they shouldn't be happy with this, the Kiwis.
Well, it's a professionalism has to come through on the players, and I'm sure that's what Gary Freeman would be talking to them in the background as the Papua New Guinea player takes his kick. I'm sure he'd be drilling into them to make sure that they really kick on in this game.
Toksi Karu, he's pushed it away to the left, his second attempt at goal today. So the score remains 42-4, and New Zealand leading after 13 minutes of the second half. Cinemau, number 16, and Karu puts up the up and under. Speculation, he had no other options, but it's paid off for them. Kenny Tani on the spot, try.
We see again on the line, red replay, Matt Milo at dummy half to Sakaro. Puts the ball in. Matthew Rich does well to get up high, but it's a little bit untidy. The winger tidies up nicely to get the try.
Second tackle for the Kumals after the restart. On the quarter line, their own end of the ground. Karu. Naffin. Almost through. Just dragged down by Nikau. Bad handling. Chance for Brendan Tuta. He's gone without it. Popped it up to Freeman, but there was a little knock on in there.
See on the line, red replay, just a simple unforced error from Samanu, the Papua New Guinea replacement, unable to control the ball. Good field position for the Kiwis now.
But it'll be a Papua New Guinea feed. The original knock-on was by Papua New Guinea, but the referee told the Kiwis that they got the advantage by towing it through. Emil.
The Kiwis will be very keen to force a turnover with some aggressive defence down here, wouldn't they?
Oh, this is the place to do it if they're going to do anything. But Papua New Guinea, they're just playing ad-lib football. There's nothing really structured in the way they're playing. They're just taking the ball one out and running into a brick wall every time. And it's good for the Kiwis, but Papua New Guinea need to throw the ball around a little bit, get on the outside of the Kiwi team and make them work for their tackles.
The Kiwis building up to the two-test series against Great Britain. You'll see the coverage of the Great Britain tour on One World of Sport. The first test in Palmerston North next Sunday, and on Wednesday night we're back at Carlo Park for Auckland and Great Britain.
Yeah, the Lion Red replay, that's one of the best sets of 6 from the Papua New Guinea side. Today they managed to advance the football 70 metres downfield.
After the match today, we'll announce the Ubix MVP, and it's going to be a tough one today because so many of these Kiwis are standing out in their first test match of the 92 season. Nikau. Tearopati. No trouble gaining the meters. Stewart up to the quarter line. 42-4. Freeman. Switch and play to the blind, Quentin Pongia. Oh, beautiful ball to Matthew Ridge, back inside to Gary Freeman. The skipper pops it back up to Sean Hoppy. He'll score a try in his debut test. He's been threatening to do it. And there it is, right between the sticks, and they don't come much easier than that.
Yes, and another professional effort from the Kiwi sides. They've been able to maintain the momentum that they've begun with at the start of the game. Very good go forward, good lead up to this try on the Lion Red replay. We see Gary Freeman stands at first receiver on the open, takes the ball back to blind to Quentin Pongia. Great short ball to Matthew Rich, good fend, great inside ball to Gary Freeman. Watch this pass, one-handed inside to Sean Hoppy. There'd be no better player in New Zealand in 1992 than this guy. Deserves a try, Sean Hoppy. He's been a great servant and played very well for the Canberra Raiders this year.
Matthew Ridge from right in front of the sticks. He adds the extra 2. It's 48-4 after 19 minutes of the second half. The try scorer, Sean Hoppy.
Again, we see good lead-up work by New Zealand. They're sticking to their game plan, going up short, backed by Gary Freeman. A great ball by Pongia. Again, Gary Freeman could have scored this try unselfishly, gave it to Sean Hoppy. Sean obviously would never have scored an easier try, but it has improved the position for Matthew Ridge, and I'm sure he'd be happy about that.
Indeed. The restart. Off the knee. Hoppy! Great run. Freeman's looming up on the inside. He's lost the ball, and the Kumals will put it into touch.
Yes, it's a sign of the times. Wingers in the modern-day game need to have not only the ability to score tries on the outside, but also advance and run the football up as strongly as this bloke here. Sean Hoppy, he's now a Canberra Raider these days in the Winfield Cup competition. Just loses that ball, but that was a strong run from the winger.
And in saying that, was also a very good tackle by the Papua New Guinea fullback, being able to take Sean Hoppy, the strength that he has out over the sideline.
Huey, I thought in that last play, the Papua New Guinea player lost the ball. Did you see it that way?
Yeah, but I think Greg McCullum might have a soft spot for this New Guinea team so far into the game and so far behind. But still, anything could happen for the New Guinea team, and anything could break it. But if it does break, it'll come from the referee.
Let's have him there. Kumul player pull back out of the play. Penalty kick.
We see on the line red replay Tia Ropati from that famous club owner Hugh Huey. I think he learned that trick while you were playing there.
Are you saying that I taught him some bad habits?
Never. We might read about it in your book, Huey, in bookstores around New Zealand over the coming weeks. Tia Ropati penalised, and the Kumals are 5 metres inside.
And one thing we can see on the sideline here, Greg, we see Daryl Halligan warming up, ready to make his debut for the Kiwis, and he'll be going on to replace Matthew Ridge.
Hugh, hasn't he been a sensational signing for North Sydney?
Oh, you could never underestimate the way Daryl has played for North Sydney. And just his point-scoring feats obviously speak for themselves, but to me, he's one of the best finishers of a try I've seen. He works extremely hard to finish off a try, and I'm sure that'll be worth for New Zealand in the future, and obviously for North Sydney as they wind up this business end of the season.
Kumul spinning it wide, Carol Sinamau. Gavin Hill read that pretty well, but they keep it alive, and Bogue is there. The Kumals have made another replacement, and the Kiwis ready to bring on Daryl Halligan. That's Nala Lapan, number 14. He's the replacement, the latest replacement, and he's thrown it straight into the arms of big Kevin Ito. The Kiwis inside their own half. Short hobby. Good strong run from the winger again. Pops it up to the opposite winger, Richard Blackmore, over the halfway line. Dwayne Mann. They smothered him eventually. Pongia waits for it a dummy half. Freeman. Tawanareka, the short ball. Just couldn't free the hands to offload. Pongia. Brendan Tudor. Back it goes to Pongia. Red Stewart. Hill. Gavin Hill. Kevin Ito left it behind. Tia Ropati couldn't pick it up, but it was forward anyway.
Yeah, on that setup play there, we had a lot of momentum going sideways, but not much advance in the football forward, did we?
Daryl Halligan getting a good welcome to Test match football. Replacing Matthew Ridge.
One question I asked, Greg, do you think Matthew Ridge was replaced because of his kicking?
No, I think he's been given a rest. Definitely.
I thought I'd just throw it at you.
But what a good situation to be in. Here you've been with Kiwi teams in the past, and we haven't had the depth of goal kickers. Daryl Halligan on the bench, and the forward pack is Gavin Hill, who's banging them over from everywhere for Canterbury Bankstown in the Winfield Cup. Dean Clark's had a pretty good year with his goal kicking for Auckland. No shortage this year.
Very much so. For years that I've played, or a number of years, we always had a lack of goal kickers, which cost us a lot of tests. But they have the depth that New Zealand have at the moment to replace a guy like Matthew Ridge with Daryl Halligan. Geez, it says a great deal of depth for them. And as I speak, we also see Mark Woods warming up on the sideline, also ready to make his debut.
First touch of the ball in Test match football for Daryl Halligan, and that's the halfway line.
Hugh, Daryl Halligan played here at the end of last season in a 4th game competition involving North Sydney and West, and gee, had a sensational series against Auckland and Canterbury.
Well, I'm sure he's a total professional, and I wish him well, Daryl, for his future. As I speak again, that replacement has been made. Mark Woods is on, replacing another debutant, as we see him taken up there in Quentin Pongia.
Mark Woods, formerly a former Bay of Plenty player, and now in Wellington. Clark. Oh, Tudor took his eye off the ball. The Kumals come away with it. Quentin Pongia in there with Matthew Ridge.
Held one. Yes.
They'd be pretty happy with their efforts today, no doubt.
Or flicked out.
As we see them on the sideline there as replacements, Brent Todd was actually replaced because of an old ankle injury. He's in the change room getting that iced.
Very popular replacement. Daryl Halligan returns the ball strongly.
Again, in that play of the ball, another indiscretion that went unnoticed by Greg McCallum. Probably just wanted to keep this game flowing.
That was a poor pass from Gavin Hill.
Yes, the Kiwi side, Kiwi, they just need to square up to the middle, get some hard yards and get a good kick in. It's been a bit loose the last 5 minutes, hasn't it?
Well, I'm sure that's what Mark Woods is on here to do, and he does exactly that, but they do need to settle back into their own game plan. Again, we see Brendan Tudor taking a full, making exceptional yardage up the middle, and before too long, we'll probably see one more before Gary Freeman changes direction.
In any code of football, he would be one of the most classiest finishers and classiest runners of the football that you would ever see. And you'll see on the Lion Red replay, Gary Freeman passes the ball up off the ground, out to Dean Clark. Kevin Edel changes his direction, comes off short with a great step off his right foot to get on the outside of Papua New Guinea, and a great left foot step to beat the fullback to coast in under the post. And I'll tell you what, classy player made that play look very, very easy.
Cabanetto, the try scorer and first-time kicker for the Kiwis, Daryl Halligan. Right in front of the sticks. They don't miss them from there. So the leading point scorer in the Winfield Cup last year is on the points board.
Great yardage made again by New Zealand, but given to this man, Kevin Iro, when he's got open spaces like this, he's got tremendous step, tremendous strength. He goes round to put himself on the board, which would probably take New Zealand to 54-4, and they're looking down the barrel of another big margin, one of their greatest margins in wins as far as they're concerned, 60-6 against France last year.
One area of Daryl Halligan's play, too, that goes a little bit unnoticed, too, because of his goal-kicking prowess, is his ability to run the football up.
Yeah, a little unnoticed by a lot of people. Again, his kicking feats would probably speak more for him than anything else, and people probably neglect that a little. But again, I mentioned earlier, he's a very, very good finisher of tries, works very, very hard, and as I said earlier, one of the best finishers I've seen.
Mark Woods.
Yeah, he's had a strong influence on this game too. 3 good rucks he's been involved with and got good yards for the Kiwis.
It was his initial break earlier that started off that try for Kevin Iro, and I'm sure that that's what Howie Tamati would be looking for, and that's probably the reason why Mark Woods was sent on.
Freeman, Woods, Dean Clark, Kevin Iro looming up, the big man inside again, pops it over the top, good skills. Gavin Hill will score in his test debut. Great try, New Zealand.
Yeah, well, one of the dangers in a match like this when too many points get scored on international, that the credibility of the game does tend to suffer a little bit. But gee, the small crowd that has turned up today have really been witness to some entertaining football. And here's another great example. Mark Woods, a Wellington second row, who played well in the Lion Red Provincial Series. Get good inside ball there from Dean Clark to Kevin Edel. Gets the ball over the top to Dwayne Mann, whose support play has been strong. And this bloke here has had a fine season in 1992, and he really deserves that try, Gavin Hill.
Sensational play by New Zealand. Again, it was just great ball skills, great hands. Again, Mark Woods was the initiator in that. Dean Clark, great support play. Hasn't he come back strongly in International Rugby League? Kevin Iro, basketball style over the top. Dwayne Mann again in good support. Gavin Hill, he set his sights on the line. No way was he going to pass this ball. Great try, New Zealand.
Gavin Hill, test debut. Daryl Halligan, 25 years of age on his debut. Ten metres in from the outer touchline. How's that for a confident start to your test kicking career? 2 from 2 from Daryl Halligan. 28 minutes of play gone, and New Zealand leading 60-4.
Huey, do you think there's any significance in the fact that Daryl Halligan and Ian Crossan, former rugby union players, both signed by Norths and Souths to play fullback, and now they're both on the wing?
Well, I think they were just giving each player time to settle into rugby league. They gave Ian Crossman especially on the wing, Daryl Halligan very much so, but they've had very good fullbacks, North Sydney. Daryl Halligan, I'm sure before too long, has made a mark on the wing, may force his way into the fullback role at North Sydney.
Brad Stewart.
Gee, this player's played very strongly. You'd be impressed with him, wouldn't you, Hugh?
Oh, very much, as I said earlier. He impressed me at the start of the year when East played an invitation team down in the South Island. Him, along with Quentin Pongia, were the pick of the forwards, but a real worker and someone that New Zealand really needed.
Mark Woods, gee, he's had an impact on the game since coming on as a fresh replacement. They're flicking it left, right and centre. They're playing the sort of football we expect from the Kumals. Freeman, inside to Tia Ropati. Dwayne Mann. Touched by Kumal, and it's a penalty.
Yes, one of Taranaki's proudest players in any football code, rugby union or rugby league, is that man there, Gavin Hill. Good little short arm to take out the Papua New Guinea player and ruled obstruction.
Yeah, Gary.
Gary Freeman has led his troops admirably today. The tap from Papua New Guinea, and that's the halfway line. Another replacement on for the Kumals, number 15. That's John Peel from Lade. It's his first test. Nappin.
A lot of aimless running from the Kumals, isn't it?
They really should be enjoying having a feel of the football because they haven't had much of it in the second half. Le Pen. Matt Millo. Cinnamau shows it. Wagambi inside. And the pass has gone astray and Brent Stewart has it. 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's
the test.
Yeah, that's excellent play, Greg, by Brent Stewart too, because it's always hard work on the edge of a defence line when a front row gets caught out there, isn't it?
Gavin Hill out of one. A couple of metres short of halfway. 60-4.
Hugh, Gavin Hill's done it relatively easy for a rugby union forward coming in the league.
He has, and he's had good experience at Canterbury with experienced players like Terry Lamb helping him along. Even Gary Freeman also helping them along. And this type of play, unfortunately, that was ruled forward. I think it might have been a good call.
Forward pass inside.
Yeah, it's not an easy proposition for forwards in particular to make a successful conversion to rugby league, but Gavin Hill's done very well.
Again, Chris Anderson, I think, the coach of Canterbury Bankstown, has helped Gavin along. He's brought him and replaced him early in games and just let him settle themselves into it. And this has been great for New Zealand, obviously, because of his selection in the Kiwi team, but it has also been of note to Gavin Hill himself.
Yes, well, it'll enhance his contract prospects for next year, certainly, won't it? So he'll be smiling.
No doubt at all. I think he signed or updated his contract earlier this year.
Fourth tackles is the referee. Hope you're enjoying live comments from referee Greg McCallum for the very first time in International Rugby League, and you're hearing it on One World of Sport. Clearing kick from Carew into open spaces and into touch. That'll relieve a bit of pressure from the Kumals.
One area where the Kumals have always found it difficult to compete today is that they haven't been able to maintain the sort of field position that they've got now.
No, they haven't. Their tackles have been broken fairly easy by the New Zealand forwards, especially we saw Gavin Hill earlier. And Mark Woods have been able to make strong yards around the ruck area. And it's one area of the game where a lot of teams need to really stress that point. It's in that area there that a lot of things do happen for them.
Kieran Appin, the captain of the Kumals, injured in back play. The New Zealanders come away with it.
Yeah, that was a good run by Daryl Halligan, and all the replacements have had a major influence on this match so far.
Well, that's probably the first mistake of the game by Tawara Nikau. Just took his eye off the ball momentarily.
This side.
Hugh, if the Kumals are going to get a try before the end of this match, they won't get a better opportunity than this.
Well, they're in centre field. They can go either way. The way that they've been positioned, they don't even know which way they're going. Everyone seems to be huddled around the middle of the ruck area as they bring it out to the left.
Karu out to Sinamau. He won't get away from Iro. After the match, we'll be naming the Ubix MVP, Player of the Day. A tough call today because this New Zealand side has really performed well as a unit and as individuals. John Peel, the replacement on.
Yeah, it'd be fairly hard to go past the likes of Brent Stewart and Dwayne Mann. They've played very strongly, Hugh.
Oh, very much so. Dwayne Mann, so far, what I see, has had an exceptional game. Great service from dummy half, tidying up the ruck area as far as defence goes. Everyone else is in the back line. I would say it would probably be a good nomination, but it's going to be a hard one to pick.
Yeah, we're glad that you're picking it.
This is the fifth tackle.
I'll put the pressure on.
Welcome home, Hugh. Put your head on the chopping block. Halligan, oh, take it out. Take it out. Let's listen to the referee.
Shot out the way. He never had the ball. Player did not have the ball. Interference.
Well, that's a dreadful bit of football. Hugh, if that was in the Winfield Cup, he'd be spending time in the sin bin for 10 minutes. That's a professional foul and a deliberate one.
As we see, he was just clearly taking it. He'd played the man and not the ball. As you said, in Winfield Cup terms, he'd probably be spending time in the bin. He'd be having an early shower. And that's something that they don't really need to do. You know, obviously they've lost the game, but at least go out trying hard.
Michael Matmillo, the hooker, is receiving some attention. Gavin Hill. 5 metres from halfway.
Another player who's had an exceptionally strong game today, Gavin Hill.
Freeman brings Halligan back into it. Out of 2 or 3 tackles, Daryl Halligan, 5 metres inside Papua New Guinea territory. Road party waits for it. Freeman, Clark, Tawara Nikau. Tuta, Mann, Stewart.
In that situation, Hugh, the front row will always take it in, won't he?
No doubt at all. You can't see him now sprinting the backs out here. But again, Brent Stewart, another player, who's had a very, very strong game.
Final tackle coming up. Freeman. Inside it goes to Tia Ropati. Tia Ropati back to Freeman. Out it goes to Dean Clark, and that's the standoff second try of the match. New Zealand 64-4.
Yes, it's been a very convincing performance. We're stating the obvious there, but certainly debut coach Howie Tamati couldn't be more happier than the way that his 1992 Kiwi sides have begun their campaign this year. We're seeing on the Lion Red replay Tia Ropati, good evasive skills, great support play from Dean Clark, from Hugh McGarns, former club owner, who's gone a terrific try. Again, great lead-up work by New Zealand. Papua New Guinea probably waiting for the kick on the last tackle. Great work, Gary Freeman, inside to Tia Ropati, and a great support play again by Dean Clark. Just rewards for his effort today.
Halligan makes no mistake again. So, with about 3 minutes to go in this match, it's New Zealand leading by 66 points to 4, and that is a new record against Papua New Guinea. Previously, the biggest score was 66-14 in 1988.
Yes, Lion Red replay action. Gary Freeman with a great short ball to Tia Ropati. Follows his pass, and Dean Clark, he's played very strongly in the first receiver position for the Kiwis this afternoon.
Running it up.
Hugh, the performance by the Kiwis today has got to be tempered by the fact that they've got to front up to Great Britain next week.
Richard Blackmore keeping it alive. And the kick goes into touch. Yeah, next Sunday's going to be interesting, Hugh.
I think so, but again we see that the attacking flair of the Kiwis, they really haven't been tested in defence as far as the Papua New Guinea team today. I'm sure the Great Britain team will stretch that defence, especially marking the likes of Martin O'Fire.
Or in fact the inside backs. Edwards, and here's a try to Papua New Guinea. It's a soft one. They won't catch Kenny Tani, although Sean Hoppy's going to make something out of it. Kenny Tani scores his second try for the Kumals. A soft one against the run of play.
Yes, well, a side as entertaining as the Kumals are always going to threaten to get a try like that. I know the Kiwis ambling back to the goal line now will be disappointed, but overall this Kiwi side has performed very credibly today, and it's great for the future of the game, and especially for the series. We see lion red action. Kenny Tane with a good left foot step to beat the tackles of Dean Clark, and Richard Blackmore just evades the stretching arms of Brendan Tudor to coast away to a very, very easy try. And I would imagine that next week Great Britain player Martin O'Fire will be wearing that number, Hugh.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But it's great work by New Guinea. Consolation try, obviously, but geez, they worked the whole of this game, and it was just rewards for that effort that they have put in, even though they're on the wrong end of a fairly convincing loss to New Zealand. But again, just a consolation try to them.
Second kicker the Kumals have tried today. This is the fullback Philip Bugay in his 9th test for the Hawks Club in Port Moresby. Papua New Guinea bench, well, they promised so much to their fans back home when they came on tour, because they really stretched the Great Britain side in the one-off test earlier this year. Again, they haven't been able to take it on tour, but they've come up against a pretty classy outfit in this new look New Zealand team. Yeah, it's the extras, 66-10. And that is full-time at Kiwi coach Howie Tamani. Congratulations to him at his first test match.